This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, morning, welcome on. I am meteorologist Devonte Dixon again. Thank you very much for joining me on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Hey, it is Thursday. Welcome on in. Sorry for starting just a minute or two late. We wanted to at least get a little more time into that live stream there. For those of you that have been watching the Shreveport Police Academy graduation, thank you very much for, first of all, listening to that. Second of all, sorry, my head's all over the place because I'm trying to get everything set up at once here behind the scenes. But yeah, essentially we started a minute or two late just because of that. We wanted to get that going. Still a little. What am I trying to talk about? Let's say flustered. Flustered's not the word. What am I looking for? Thoughts in my head, many of them at this moment. Sorry, trying to get them out right now. But anyways, the point is, we do have a first with breakdown. Let's get to the simple points, Evan. Let's get your brain on the simple track here. We have a warm up here for today. We have your full weather forecast as we usually do on this First Alert Weather Breakdown. Followed by that, we also have hopefully an interview. That's what I'm trying to say because maybe our interview is here or not. I can't tell. Usually I like to take time and set up the interview beforehand. I have Devonte Dixon coming on in for the First Alert Weather Breakdown. And we're having trouble getting him connected on the other line of our VMix. So I'm going to try to get that figured out here. Maybe a commercial break coming up. But all I know is that we do have we do have our full weather. We do have our full local forecast here first and foremost before we talk about Devonte. Again, Devonte is a meteorologist with Monroe, Louisiana, a news station over there, KNOE News 8. I'm also in the middle of texting him because he's, again, trying to get this Zoom link figured out. Hey, we'll get technology figured out. But what we can do definitely first and foremost is get you situated on the weather forecast here throughout the day today. Hold up, I'm literally just going to tell him, podcast has started. We'll figure out in a moment. I love how we're doing it. This is how you can tell this is live, all right? Out when I can. Beautiful. There you go. Phone down. Let me focus on you guys. Give you guys at least a full local forecast. All right, but before I do that, again, let's talk about what's going on with the full topics here for the day today. In our full local forecast, we're going over the weekend. We're also going over rain coming back here eventually into the forecast. In addition to that, we will hopefully be talking to Devonte Dixon here on the other line. But essentially, let's get into your local forecast. Again, we were talking about your weekend forecast, which is looking pretty good, but rain coming back eventually down the road. And what I mean by eventually is this has been a very strange forecast. Now, I say that a lot about a lot of forecasts I will say coming up. But I do truly mean it here for this one. And the main reason why is because we continue to delay our rain chances. Just so you know, about Monday, I think it was, back on Monday, we had, we had a forecast that projected rain for this coming weekend. This was back on Monday. Monday's forecast had rain projected for this coming weekend. Today, we don't have rain at all for the weekend. It has been pushed back to next week. We're going to talk about when next week here in just a little bit. But essentially, we continue to push, the weather models are continuing to push back kind of the arrival of this next upcoming cold front for so long. I mean, we've waited for quite a while. We haven't had any measurable rainfall in the Arctic since October 25th. I even just checked that out about 30 minutes ago on the statistics with that. Yes, it has not rained yet in the month of November. And even then, it didn't rain the final week of October at all, which made it good for Halloween. But and we've had a number of cool downs since then, but none of which have given us rain at all. Where has it been? 3 consecutive weeks where we haven't had any measurable rainfall, and we still have a forecast that overall is pretty dry, but we are looking forward to hopefully dragging the rain that is in the long-term forecast and pushing that legitimately into our short-term forecast to be a little more certain about it, because all we've continued to say consistently over the last several forecasts, and I've heard Matt say this many times, I am uncertain. I have lots of uncertainty. Let's hopefully make that rain certain. Look, I know rain's a pain on plans, but we need it at this point. That's what I was literally telling one of our anchors, like, oh, isn't rain? She was like, oh, the Celeste was like, oh, isn't rain coming back next week? I was like, yes. But it was like, hey, you've had plenty of time to enjoy dry weather over the past 3 weeks or so. And she's like, yeah, I know. Anyways, enough chitter chatter. I know it's already 10:37. Let's get into the forecast here for you. All right, we're pulling up the weather graphics here right now here on the first weather breakdown. Here's a live look into your Window World Skycam here into Texarkana here for the moment. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine there. Same thing there for Bossier City in the process too, all right? We got beautiful sunshine all around. That's continuing on through the rest of the work week. So guess what? Sunshine today is helping us fuel up our temperatures. That's the biggest change here for the short term, is our temperatures continue to get even warmer here for this afternoon here all around the Arklatex. Then here for the weekend, same thing. Same thing. In fact, our temperatures are going to really start to level out. We're not going to continue to increase our temperatures even more. We're not getting back to summer heat by any standards around here. But it will be still quite warm in for the next couple of afternoons here for you coming up, and that concludes the weekend ahead. Next week, though, I'm still looking at rain coming back. I at this point, I feel like Chicken Little screaming the rain's coming back. And yet, it could, again, as I just stated, the weather models continue to push it farther down the line. Almost just trying to shove it away from us over the next couple days. Anyways, temperatures currently 73 in Shreveport, 73 in Texarkana. Comfortable. 75 in Natchitoches. Upper 60s in the northern edge up towards DeQueen. 76 in Carthage. 72 into Mansfield. Here's what's happening with our temperatures over the next couple days. Again, we've gotten to this point here for the day today, Thursday, where our high temperatures are well above average. We maintain that now. Look at this. All the way through the weekend, you still see the oranges and the reds stuck in the Arklatex here up until the weekend. Once you get into next week, looks like that continues here for the most part, but I will say by the middle of next week towards Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when our temperatures could maybe cut down by just a little bit as you see those reds and oranges slightly go away. And we're trying to maybe nudge just a little bit of cooler air maybe in here for the middle of next week. But up until that point, you're talking about 4 to 5 consistent days of having high temperatures like this. 81 in Texarkana, 78 in for DeQueen, 79 in Hope, 80 in for DeKalb. Across East Texas, 80 in Marshall, 78 for Carthage, 79 for Dangerfield. 82 in for Shreveport, highs in the upper 70s all across northwest Louisiana here for you. Over the next 5 days, I have a high of 82 here for the day today in Shreveport here for Thursday, and pretty much highs, again, stuck in the lower 80s all the way through at least Monday of next week. That also includes the weekend here for you coming up. So I know most of our focus here throughout this early part of this work week on the first hour with the breakdown has just been looking forward to the change in temperature. Now, the only change that's, again, we're changing the temperatures into today, slightly warmer than that of yesterday, and then they remain streamlined as just discussed for the next 5 days. But beyond that, it's mainly looking forward to the question of when is rain coming back? When is it coming back? Because it's been away for quite some time, and it still stays away from our short-term future track. A few passing clouds, but none of which give us any chance of substantial rain at all. Weekend, it's looking fantastic. Great for outdoor plans there for you on both Saturday and Sunday, as overall this high-pressure system continues to dominate on top of us all the way through the weekend. It's staying kind of stubborn, you could call it, because it's continuing to give us ample sunshine, and high-pressure systems are always associated with dry weather. Now, the interesting thing is that you can already track out our next chance of rain now. It's just got to get here. The thing is, this low-pressure center, look at how far south it is. Usually the low-pressure centers that miss us with the rain start up here towards Seattle and Portland, and will just go eastward, and they're too far up to the north to give us rain down south, unless they are incredibly powerful, which there have been some pretty powerful cold fronts always coming through and giving us a chance of severe weather from time to time. But I will say with this system, again, it's already starting off in areas, you can see the rotation with the rain bands around this low pressure center off the west coast. That's what we're tracking again to give us our next chance of rain here locally in the Arklatex. So check this out. Long range future track. We're just going to be looking at that because, again, as stated, this is our next chance of rain once it gets here. In the central part of the United States, I'll go ahead and hide my face here real quick. I mean, you're not seeing anything here locally in the central part of the portion of the United States. We got to wait for our shipment of rain to get here, again, from the West Coast, essentially. So, into tomorrow, into Saturday, into Sunday, you'll notice good news and bad news. You'll notice the good news is that this low pressure center is dipping to the south. It's settling into the southwest corner of the United States, but in a matter of 3 days out from now, Sunday's 3 days away, this goes from off the west coast to being positioned into Southern California. Case in point, this is moving at a snail's pace, incredibly slow, as it continues to move eastward, at least for the end of the work week and into the weekend. But I will say, once we get into early next week, this thing finally looks to move. You'll see that with signs of rain in for St. Louis on the very eastern side of this low pressure center on Monday night. And eventually, we're going to have this low pressure center, you see, gather up the cloud cover on Tuesday. And this is happening in areas just off to the north and west sides of the Arklatex. Before on Wednesday, that's when we're finally forming the line of storms. To be fair, this is Wednesday morning. They're forming the line of storms in between Oklahoma and Texas, and eventually that's going to carry eastward and a little bit southward into the Arklatex, giving us finally our first substantial rain chance here in the better part of 3 weeks. Eventually, when this comes out, probably 4 weeks, which is quite impressive. But what I'm trying to get at is, again, as I mentioned earlier, this scattered round of storms was originally projected to come through here this weekend, mainly on Sunday. But still, as we've continued day in, day out for the past 3 days, it's moved it back a day. Yesterday's forecast called for this to move through on Tuesday. Now it's moving through on Wednesday of next week. So hopefully, we actually have this scattered round of storms, which continues to appear. It continues to look rainy and for the long-term period, but it continues to get delayed. When will it stick around on a day? Hopefully Wednesday of next week, I can finally look forward to rain showers showing back up to help our farmers out with our substantial drought that has really collected itself around the Arklatex. So the middle of late to next week, yeah, this is what the future track looks like on Wednesday night as of right now. Maybe even heading into Thursday too. And overall, that first bullet point is kind of our main story over the past couple of days. As I said, I feel like I'm crying wolf with that rain chance not just staying stuck to a certain day, but again, just being stuck to the tail end of the 7-day forecast period and not coming upward, up the ladder in the 7-day forecast in time. It still could bring severe weather, especially with how potent and how powerful it continues to look and appear that way on our long-term future track. I mean, look at this. This is a whole line of red. Anytime you see that on long-range future track, that usually spells out bad news. It'll be giving us our next round of storms and just a tiny cool down. I'm not seeing any Arctic freeze coming from this next week, but I will see the temperatures at least dropping off, hopefully just a little bit. Until that happens, though, you're stuck with temperatures around the lower 80s here for the day today. Sunshine and temperatures cooling off nicely into the nighttime hours. But yeah, highs are going to be in the lower 80s consistently. We're going to have plenty of sunshine consistently, still with the rain away. It continues today, tomorrow, through the weekend. Monday and Tuesday may be introducing a tiny bit of rain before we get that persistent rain chance again for you next week. Here's the full 7-day forecast now here for you. Again, that 40% chance of storms is on Wednesday. Maybe just a few spotty storms in between Monday and Tuesday, but overall still next 4 days, including the weekend, rain-free. Highs will be in the lower 80s, and I know we haven't talked about it much at all, but the temperatures in the morning have especially warmed up like crazy. We're now up to morning lows only in the lower 60s here for the next several days. That's even going to continue into next week as well, as those will be fairly moderate. All right, that was a check out of your local forecast again. Thanks for watching that. Hey, stick around. We do have Devonte Dixon trying to get in our online call. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to take a long commercial break. And when we come back, hopefully everything will be fixed. If not, I'm going to leave it on the standby for live event slate. See if he comes back. Hopefully he does. Knock on wood, he does. But if he doesn't and I'm working on it, this live stream will be set on standby for live event until I can get it fixed. All right, we're going to be talking to him again just about the recent weather trends and having a nice weather discussion about what's been going on across northern Louisiana here over the past several weeks and what's to come as well. All right, We'll check out the interview with Devonte Dixon again right after this. Stand by. Hey, welcome back to the first alert weather breakdown. Um, I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh because I made a simple mistake in inviting Devonte. So first of all, hey, good news. We got Devonte on the line. He's on the other line. I'll bring him up in just a second. I'm allowing him to tidy himself. He's already ready to go. I see him on the other camera. But I guess let me go ahead and bring him on and tell. Well, first of all, we haven't even done mic checks with him at all. You know, this is not how you professionally do this. But he's shown up during the commercial break. We couldn't test out the mic during commercial break, or else, we're just in commercial. But anyways, we're bringing him on now. Hey, Devonte, how are you doing? Hopefully, we can hear you. Question mark.
Loud and clear.
One more. I think you're coming through. Hold up, one more time. I think my microphone on the other end. I see you. I hear you coming through, but for some reason, you're not coming through on my headpiece. So just keep talking because I know you're coming through. I know you're coming through. I know you.
I can hear you, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Beautiful, beautiful. We tested
Yeah,
everything out. All right, we're good. We're good now. We're
Sweet.
good now. See, this is this is how you test mics live on our podcast air. Anyways, thank you very much for coming. Real quick, one more thing before we get into the actual talk here for the day today. I'm so sorry because I put in when I tried to put in your Zoom input into the box I have now. I clicked on the wrong meeting. I clicked on the wrong meeting. I literally it was literally like interview with Devonte Dixon or meeting with Devonte Dixon, and I feel like a boomer with this. I couldn't remember which one I which one I put in, and I put in the wrong input. Whoops. So, anyways, we fixed it. You're here now. Congratulations. So, anyways, I'm glad to have you on the first weather breakdown. Getting back into the weather podcast mindset here. So, anyways, welcome on. It's great to have you back. I guess the first thing of what we noticed over the past couple weeks, just weather-wise, between my area and your area, is that it has been dry. It has been abnormally dry. I know you're shaking your head. You're even widening your eyes, too, for it. I even just looked this up 30 minutes ago, and I even told my viewers this while I was doing the podcast. I think the last time we had measurable rainfall, at least in Shreveport, was October 25th. We haven't even had any this month. We didn't even have any the last week of October. How bad has the drought been, I guess, especially in your area? Our area's gotten a little slight to moderate drought in our area, but how bad has it been over there towards the Ark-La-Miss out towards Monroe?
Some parts of the region still under abnormally dry conditions, and we still have that moderate drought, I believe, for Ashley County in Arkansas. But outside of that, we're not dealing with, like widespread drought conditions, thankfully. But with the prolonged dry activity that we are expecting, or dry conditions that we're expecting, that is something that I'm keeping, a close eye on, because I know we're not really expecting much in terms of rain next week if we, really get a lot of rain across the area, because I know models have been pretty funky with this system. But yes, it has been pretty dry. The last time we had measurable rainfall here in Monroe was on October 28th. So, yeah, we're desperately in need of some rain.
It's been quite some while. We're not even in summer yet. You can't even say this is like the summer drought. I'm not sure if this is like the late summer drought, because I know everybody knows if summer likes to stick around our two areas for, in my opinion, far too long.
Well, I know, like, I had mentioned about the, over the past weekend where we, if we had the moisture, we would have, of course, saw some showers over the area. We did not. But at the same time, I was thankful because, with moisture in the system, that strong cold front that moved through, severe weather would have been a concern for our area. So it's like it's a toss up. It's like we need the rain, but we don't need severe weather. But at this point, right now, I think, the biggest focus is just finally seeing some rain. We finally thawed out temperature wise, but we just need some rain.
It's about time. It's about time. And I will say it's finally looking like it's coming along, kind of. I say kind of because over the next, I think, few days, 4 or 5 days, things are still looking dry, at least through the weekend here. But then you head into next week, and that kind of changes around. Looks like we have a consistent pattern of actually some scattered storms coming on by. Fingers crossed, but with a big cool down again comes big responsibilities in the weather department. I wanted to reiterate as well your mention about what happened this past Monday. We had a big cool down, and if there was rain attached to it, there would have been severe storms definitely associated with it. And that was kind of what made this last cold front, especially that moved through this past weekend, that rushed in that cold burst of air here, first fresh thing into Monday morning. It made it very strange because usually when we have that rapid 20-degree temperature drop, it comes with storms. Storms help it cool off, but it was not to be seen of. But anyways, for next week, I think we're expected to have some measurable rainfall here for the long term for both you and for me.
Like I said, we are looking at seeing some rain. It's just a question of, I guess, which day that we're going to see that best opportunity of rain. Because I know originally it was Sunday for my neck of the woods.
Same.
It got pushed over to focus on Monday, and now it's towards the middle of the week. Right. With the system slowing down. And so, it's a wait and see situation, I guess, with the rain. But I'm looking forward to it. I've never been so looking forward to rain than I am now. So
makes you seem like you're like, you're looking forward to rain being back? For many of the farmers, yeah, big time. That's for certain around our region. But man, I think that's been one of the strangest parts about this next upcoming system coming on in, as you mentioned. The weather model's not perfect. If we have if we had a perfect science, I always like to say, then we would not have a reason for a job. But it's still quite strange. It's still quite strange to me that back on Monday's forecast for this coming weekend, it was looking bad. It was looking big time bad. And then just like I made the comparison today of airport flights. Just like flights keep getting delayed and delayed and delayed, that's exactly what we're doing with our storms here. Just because it wants to get, it's moving at a turtle's pace, essentially. It's wild.
That's why I always stress, and I'm sure you do the same. To stay tuned to the forecast because it's always changing. Our atmosphere is always evolving, and as it evolves, of course, the models evolve. So, with a lot of differences between amongst the models, it's hard to really say, oh, we're going to see widespread rain on this day, especially when the models are showing the system not progressing as fast as it previously had the system moving. And so when you have that happening, of course, the rain gets delayed and get pushed back, a couple of days, a day or so, or whatnot. But hey, at this point, like I was saying, regardless of what day, just hopefully we see some rain next week.
I hope it comes along. I mean, and the thing is, I wouldn't be as optimistic for this exact round if it wasn't for, I think, the amounts of rain showing up after that. Because the Climate Prediction Center, something we monitor a little bit closely, continues to put in above average chances for precipitation for like our for like day 8 out of day 14. So it's like if our 7-day forecast had a 7-day forecast, essentially. It's not this coming, it's basically the end of next week and heading into early portion of Thanksgiving. It's looking rainy. So what that essentially entails to me is that we shouldn't just have one round of storms that comes, say, again, as we keep mentioning as of right now, Wednesday and Thursday of next week. It means we have consistent rounds of storms following up after that could provide additional rainfall, additional chances of storms, that kind of thing moving on through, almost like a complete pattern change in throughout the Arclitex, which would help us cool back down. Which I wouldn't say surprised, but it just the welcoming reception of people that really welcomed in when I hyped up the 20s and lower 30s on this past Monday was good. Not gonna lie, it was very welcomed because obviously we'll have that plenty for winter, but it's still gonna stay away for a little while.
Oh, and it's funny you mentioned that because literally before hopping on, I was looking at the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for the next 6 to 10 days. And, it was showing temperature staying above. Although, of course, yes, with rain and things like that, temperatures will be cooler. But it was still showing, temperature staying above average. And I know here locally in Monroe, average for us by the middle of November is usually the mid 60s. And we could still see temperatures, in the 70s, although that's cooler compared to the low 80s that we are expecting heading into the weekend. So
several days,
right?
Lower 80s. I mean, I used to. I think there was another thing about a part of our forecast that changed from day to day. We're expecting cooler weather to be settled in with the rain towards, like, say, Sunday, Monday, and now that's barely even showing up on Wednesday of next week. Overall highs are still like stuck in the 80s for next like 5 to 6 days. I mean, these are cold. These are brief little stints with the cool air that we're just lasting around with.
Right, and I know like a few days ago, it was weird because I forecasted I think mid 70s for Sunday because originally, of course, we were expecting rain. And now we're talking low 80s. So that goes to show you the big turnaround that rain, or I guess the big impact that rain has on your temperatures. Because if you're originally expecting it to rain and you're no longer getting that or having that in the forecast, temperatures change just like that. But even then, we were still going to be above average for this time of year.
Hey, never underestimate the power of cloud cover, like acting as basically a pocket of shade. so to speak. So the sun is powerful, especially if it's beaming on down ahead. So yeah. I think I got one or two last things here for you. I do want to congratulate both my area and your area for surviving the tropic season. Really did not impact us whatsoever, at least us specifically, which was fantastic. We did not have, obviously, I think there was a day of rain last year with, I think, Francine that we had, but obviously the most memorable storm last year was Beryl that trekked on through with all the tornado warnings back in July of 2024. We have no such system at all of this work week. In fact, this was the first week on the first weather breakdown where we didn't have a tropics update, a weekly one of those. Obviously, the season goes still technically until the end of November, but it's pretty much dead. I'm going to be honest. I'd say, would you think the same? Because I just the one tidbit I want to add before you input your thing is I've noticed the Gulf temperatures getting down cooler, especially in the northern end of the Gulf, which would not help to suffice or to be able to prep up a tropical storm at all.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I do think we're at that point where the tropics not really, a huge concern. Even in January, you can still get. It has happened. It's not. It's
rare.
One of those rare situations, but it can happen. You can get a storm develop. Outside of hurricane season, but given the cooler temperatures that we are seeing in the Gulf and things like that, I don't think that's like a huge concern for us moving forward. But of course, as always, when something come about, we're quick to let you know because that's our job and that's what we love to do. But I don't really see there being anything in the foreseeable future, at least the next 7 to 10 days.
Yes, and the thing of which I like to look at for that kind of thing coming to an end is seeing persistent cold fronts coming on through. Those hurricanes hate dealing with cold fronts because they basically get shunned out like a shield. They act like daily shields, and especially as those keep coming along into the late side of winter. Nothing from the tropics is going to come up here if consistent winds are coming out of the north and west, continuing to give us systems and cold fronts continuing to come on through. So that's great news with that. Obviously, just on a quick note elsewhere, obviously not everybody got fortunate. For us, obviously the big system of the year is going to be known as Melissa, the Cat 5 that went through Jamaica, and even that's the most prominent island that I got the brunt force of everything. But the combo of that and Haiti, Bahamas, and even the east side of Cuba, always just wish the best for those of you if you happen to be recovering in that kind of situation over there, as that will be ongoing throughout winter as state of recovery. It's unfortunately taking years in that kind of area. The only other thing I want to toss to as well in that regard is everybody keeps forgetting as well that tropics caused the flooding in central Texas that happened, I believe, I forget what month it happened in, back in July. Everything with the, I forget the exact town as well. But it was the flooding in central Texas that flooded out the campgrounds, I believe. Yeah, that was from the remnants of a tropical system, Barry. Everybody's going to forget about that, but yeah. So even though it was, go ahead.
I was just saying, the remnants are just as enough to, be impactful. And a lot of people don't realize that, but yeah, a lot of the rain from that can still cause a lot of flooding.
There's a difference between just getting your typical kind of thunderstorms just coming off of cold fronts that are passing from the west to the east into our areas and the deep tropical moisture that gets really pushed up into those tropical systems such as hurricanes and things of that matter. And any tropical storm, doesn't even have to be hurricanes. It just causes so much rainfall in an area in such little time. So it can be devastating. The last thing I'll add is, what are you looking forward to for Thanksgiving for a forecast this year? Obviously, I think we are entailing that things are going to turn around, that it's looking a lot more wet, and it's looking a lot more still continuing at least a little bit on some slightly warmer conditions. But I know it's still a long ways away. But I guess I have two questions here. What do you think is going to happen for Thanksgiving, and what do you want to happen for Thanksgiving now that it's hopefully getting into fall season?
I think it's going to be Yeah, I mean, I think you touched right on it. It's probably gonna be more of a warm and wet Thanksgiving, or at least around that time. What I would prefer to happen is it to be, well, I don't know. I would be thankful for the rain, but it'd be nice to have a dry Thanksgiving and cooler as well. Um, However, I don't, the temperature wise, that far out, it can be very interesting.
That you could say that again. The last thing I'll leave off with is there was a comment in my post back from Monday about when I was hyping up the temperatures in the 20s and 30s earlier this week on this past Monday and Tuesday morning. Somebody asked about snow, and I was like, Sorry, I saw your reaction,
I'm putting the no in snow.
and I was like, I love your enthusiasm. I love it. Trust me, I love seasons. I'm a fan of all kind of weather. But in the Arklatex, and even you can agree with the Arklamis, let's hold off on that question until December or May, December and January, which are like the only months we could get snow. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. It's a little too early to talk about snow. And I do want to point out real quick,
Yeah.
if I have enough time, you're going to start to see a lot of maps floating around about snow and how much snow we are going to see all the way through early, I guess early in the year next year and things like that. Take those with a grain of salt. Just because you see snow maps, it doesn't mean that we're going to see snow. Those are just like models. They're a prediction. And a lot of times it doesn't pan out the way that you're seeing on the map. So yeah, again, take those with a grain of salt. And also keep in mind that we do have AI generated products too. And so not everything that you see is real. So just keep that in mind.
That's true. Hey, just like the rain that's been stuck to the tail end of our 7-day forecast, remember how that's been moving still farther and farther back into the future? Case in point, anything can change in the long-term period. Those are anything beyond 7 days, I like to say, is kind of just like a hint. What could happen a little bit later down the road? But I will say, last thing I'll end with is I know we've gone a little too far, but anyways, last winter, at least, I think this is the same case for the Arklamis too. We had a system that hit the northern edge of the Arklatex, and a system that hit the southern edge of the Arklatex and gave that whole blizzard out in New Orleans. Look, I'm a fan of snow. Let's get one system in here. Just asking for one, okay? Is that too much? That too much to ask for?
Like they say, be careful what you ask for.
Fair enough. Look, all I'm gonna say is, look, as long as everybody is fine during winter and like staying cozy and obviously staying safe, driving out in those conditions, that's what matters first and foremost. But I will say, the videos of people skiing down Bourbon Street last winter, it's fantastic. You will never see that anywhere else.
That looked like a really great time. Even in my hometown, Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
People were, I guess, going down hills and things like that. A lot of videos circulating. I was like, wow, that just seems like a lot of fun. And here I am, not even in my hometown, and we missed out on the snow.
And it was south of you. It was south of here.
You just have to drive, a couple of hours and would have made it. Because I believe, Lafayette had snow as well?
Yes, it did. It shut down I-10. There was a blizzard warning in Lake Charles last year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We're reminiscing right now.
That's the thing. Things like that happen, every once in a blue moon. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was a record-breaking snow event. And so when you have the right setup, hey, anything can happen.
We'll have to hype that up more and see if we can maybe get a talk like that going into December and January, so we can like summon it maybe. Maybe not that to that extent, but we'll see. Anyways, we gotta end the podcast.
Dance. Do the snow dance.
We gotta end this podcast. Thank you very much for joining, Devonte. I really appreciate it. Here for the day today, joining me.
Thanks, man.
Cool. And thank you for sticking around if you've made it along this far. Thank you very much for watching. No, we tailored a little off track at the end, but hey, I hope you enjoyed the whole thing. Let me know if you did. Thank you for watching us on our YouTube page as well and on the live stream on KSLA.com. Really appreciate it. Hey, have a great rest of your day. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you on for one more podcast for the First Alert with a Breakdown tomorrow, Friday, 10:30. You know it's a fall. You know it's Friday, which means we're going to our football forecast here for you around the Arklatex that includes both high school, college, and your NFL games. Hey, have a great rest of your day. I will see you 10:30 tomorrow. Be there, be square, most importantly, hey, stay weather aware. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow.